Hello! So the new Title Update 1 trailer has just dropped, and I for one, I'm super excited for all the features, and I have very strong opinions about all of them, so I thought I'd make this video to open up room for discussion in the community. Let's get it started. First, we got the new gathering hub called the Grand Hub, and it is grand indeed, with many mini games like barrel bowling, fishing, and we even got the return of the feline canteen, which I'm super excited about. I feel like the approach they had with Monster Hunter Wilds was for everyone to experience a new introduction to the genre before they make us work together to hunt bigger monsters and stuff, and I like to believe that that has been a part of their planning and not about things not being ready to be pushed out, and this entire thing is just the reason why we didn't get these things at the start. The new gathering hub is way bigger in size compared to Monster Hunter World, and I'm a huge fan of the minigames, even though I think the whole cycle of killing monsters, coming back and then killing them again should be very simple and there should be nothing getting in the way of that, but I'm not so sure any of these cool little minigames will be touched 2 days after the release of the update. The problem I have with this is that everyone is just so busy min-maxing and farming that we don't really get the chance to interact with each other and meet new people, and that part of the game is actually very fun, and that's why one of the reasons why I like Monster Hunter so much. I think a good way to make sure people do actually play these mini games and gather up together is, for example, giving a lot of hard to farm items. So instead of people having to get a gathering set or farming for ancient potions, for example, they have to participate in these mini games, and imagine, for example, you have to be in a line for barrel bowling, and that gives you a bit of time to cheer others and interact with the community like an MMO, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't want this to be getting in the way of the actual gameplay. I just think that it would be cool after like maybe doing 20 hunts, you get to do a little cool thing like this to just get a bunch of ancient potion and get ready for your next hunt. They're definitely on the right path though, because for example, the singing lady is an event, and I would imagine since the hub is an online space, you can't just skip through to the night, so maybe it becomes a rare event and people gather in game to watch that. This makes me think they actually do care about this stuff. Again, a cool little idea would be to show if a lobby is about to have diva singing for us, and then people would gather to watch it, and maybe in future we get more events like this and give a little reward for participation in the event to encourage a bit of time spent with other people socializing, and then maybe afterwards we get a bunch of ancient potions, other stuff that are just really hard to farm, like for example the dash juices, and I would really encourage people to socialize and have a little bit of fun together. For the monsters, they started off with the return of Mizutsune, which is actually a very famous monster in the series. I for one can't just wait to get the Devil Joe in this game, especially with the offset mechanic and how savage they made Devil Joe in Monster Hunter World, but Mizutsune is also a fun little addition. The thing I like most about the Monster Hunter Wild monsters is how different they are from each other. Like for example, even the punching bags like Chatacabra and the chicken, their fights are just so different. Mizutsune fight is also no exception from this. With the addition of bubbles and their interactions with the hunters, it feels such a different fight from the other monsters. Speaking of different though, we're getting the first Wild's Arch-Tempered monster, which is Raid Dao. Now considering what we know about the Arch-Tempered monsters, there's usually a bunch of new moves that they bring, either as a combo or a big attack, kinda like Nergigante. So I'm really excited about the fight, and the Raid Dao in my opinion just hasn't been served justice for how cool he actually looks. When it comes to his armor though, usually the gamma sets are a bit higher in terms of the base defense values, and some of the armor skills get changed and moved around, but the most important thing is these armors typically can slot in a lot more jewels than the normal sets, which makes me think people will have to use some of the parts of this armor in their set if it is at least one. However, the set bonus is kind of bad, especially if you want to feel powerful all the time, because the latent power only activates if you have spent 2 minutes in combat or you take around 130 damage, which isn't that great considering there are other skills like Max Might and Weakness Exploit which do the exact same thing for better. The other thing is that the 2-piece bonus only increases the duration of latent power by 30 seconds, which is again, in my opinion, very underwhelming, and definitely a lost potential for a good set bonus for great monsters such as Raid Dao. Then of course we have Zoshia, and Zoshia is just such a mystery in the current state of Wild's story, which reminds me of how Xeno'jiiva was and how they turned him into a beast like Safi'jiiva later on. It just feels like he hasn't unlocked his true final form yet, and I don't know if that's going to happen with the current high rank quest that we're going to get. But his armor though definitely is really nice and makes for some really amazing cosmetic options, since your looks actually transform when you go in the combat, which is just super badass. And lastly, we had a glimpse of Lagiacrus, and I'll be honest guys, I have never fought this guy, but I'm still super excited. I mean, just look at this model from the Monster Hunter try, and he was also ranked the 3rd place in the Hunter's Choice for top monsters during Monster Hunter's 20th anniversary. I am super excited about him, and I have not yet spoiled his movesets for myself, but I don't know if I can hold on any longer. And finally, a very necessary addition to the game, we finally are getting the arena quests, and I can't express to you guys how insane this actually is, because I bet more than 99% of the community, especially you guys that are watching right now, don't know about a certain strategy that you can use with the help of buffing sets and a certain combination of things that you can do before your hunt to increase your power. There has been talks of buffing sets, especially with some of the more famous MH YouTubers, but as far as I've looked, I have not seen anyone talk about this specific routine unless there's like a society of speedrunners somewhere secret that are talking about this. I have not seen anyone talk of this certain strategy that I know of, and I'm telling you, it's ridiculous because I'm die-hard fan of this game and has always been playing a variety of weapons decently well, especially against monsters like Elatrion and Vitalis. I recently even made a video about the keybinds that I used because I'm so passionate about this entire thing, and I never knew about this until recently that I wanted to start speedrunning as well, and I started to realize my attacks were hitting for way less than a guy that was using the same exact set as me on another speedrun of Arcveld. And finally, when I've done a bit of theory crafting and testing, I found out about this buffing strategy, which I will make a video of very soon. But essentially, with the addition of arena quests and everyone playing under the same conditions, we can expect for more realistic results that common players like you and me can achieve as well if we put in the time rather than needing to be a mathematician to just try and do some speedruns. Still, there's going to be some quests on arena that has been said that allow for outside armored sets to be brought in, but we'll have to wait and see if the buffs that you do before the quest starter screen actually carries over before we start to judge this new feature. Lastly, they showed us a bunch of free and paid cosmetic options. This includes things like emotes, pets, tent customizations like music and props, and I'll show you guys these things in the background right now. But another cool thing is that you can now change your handler's outfit. You can literally turn her into a stuff of nightmares. Honestly though, I gotta say, with how restrict Capcom has been in terms of monetization with the Monster Hunter, it serves more than enough justice for some of the cosmetic options to be paid. I know some people feel bad about having to pay for a cosmetic DLC and feel like these things should have been part of the base game, but I tell you, as someone who has followed Monster Hunter for a long time and has played other games as well, they more than enough deserve this, and I'm sure that most of the community is more than enough happy to support them as long as they keep giving us these awesome updates. Like, let's be honest, we're just getting all of these new monsters, quests and additions for free, and they only charge for the cosmetics for a game that they're going to support for at least 1 to 2 years. That already sets these guys apart from so many greedy companies. But yeah, I think that's it guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna make some really cool videos in the near future, even though I'm gonna be going on a vacation soon. But seriously, thanks everyone for supporting our small little channel here. All the likes and comments and shares might seem small for you guys, but it's a huge help for me. So thanks again, and I see you all next time.